didn't have these windows open previously. Let's see. Hi, everybody. We are going live for the first ever weekly update from Gimbalabs. I'm just making sure this is working right now. It looks like it's on Twitter. All right, I'm going to assume this is working. Let's give this a try. All right, my name is James. Got my partner Roberto here. And we are doing an experiment with weekly updates from Gimbalabs, and we thought we might jump right in right now. So let's just go for it. I'm going to share my screen. So we have a few things that we want to cover today, and we want to talk about why we're doing these weekly updates in the first place. If you are watching on YouTube or Twitter, feel free to ask questions anytime. That's kind of our lifeblood, is really communicating with people. So we want to share with everybody out there what Gimbalabs is, why we're doing these updates, and then just kind of set the stage for what these updates will be on a regular basis. So first of all, we are a Catalyst Fund 2 funded project, and we are so grateful to the community for giving us this opportunity to engage in this work. To kick off, we just want to share the mission and vision that we shared in our proposal for Catalyst. Our mission is to mobilize everyone in the Cardano community by creating tools and real-world use cases that ignite public imagination and facilitate adoption of Cardano, because we envision a world where as many people as possible are empowered to solve problems using the Cardano platform. We really do have high hopes for what Cardano can do when these tools are in people's hands, and we really want to be one node, one assistant on that journey. So before we go further, I think it's worth pausing and just talking about why we're calling ourselves Gimbalabs. We have incredibly deep respect for all of the naming conventions across the Cardano ecosystem. It's one of the many things that delight me personally about Cardano. Hey, Julie.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
We're talking about what a gimbal is and why we're called Gimbalabs.
Great.
So yeah, we really admire the thought that's gone into just naming everything up and down the Cardano ecosystem, and we can muse more about some of our favorites another time. But we really wanted to be part of that tradition, and that's why we're called Gimbalabs. So if you don't know already, Cardano's namesake, Girolamo Cardano, lived in the 16th century. And one way to describe him is that he was a master of tooling. He didn't invent as many things as he was really good at describing things. And among the tools that he described was the gimbal. He didn't invent it, but he did talk about its specifications and what it's good for. These days, gimbals are used in aeronautics, in gyroscopes, so inside your cell phone, inside a satellite, for example. And a gimbal is a tool used in film to create balance in a camera, right? So every time you see a really steady shot in your favorite TV show or movie, it's gimbals in part that made that possible. This is what we want to be for the community. Gimbals provide balance. We want to try to provide that. Gimbals provide support, and direction as you're trying to find your way. And just like Girolamo Cardano, we didn't invent this, right? We're not the people who invented Cardano, but we do think we can play one supporting role in the role it plays in the world. How is that, guys? Would you add anything to that? Okay, so we are Gimbalabs, and we want to make more gimbals. We want to provide tooling. Julie, you were going to say something.
No, I would just want to add, as is totally fine. I mean, it really underlies the foundation, connecting not only to our project but also to Cardano itself, to give it a really an answer to what this whole Cardano universe means to us.
And it'll change over time, right? There's a certain set of tools available right now, but in an ongoing way, we're all going to continue to learn about them together. So we'll reference this again. So we're called Gimbalabs, and we want to make gimbals. Okay, next, why are we doing weekly updates? We're doing weekly updates because we really feel responsible to you, the community. We exist. We are on this adventure because we had a Catalyst project funded, and as such, we owe it to everyone in the Cardano community just to let you know on a regular basis what we're up to and if we're delivering on our promises. We're choosing this format in particular of quick weekly updates every Friday because it's the most efficient way to do the job, right? If I promised to write a weekly update every week, I would just be sitting up all night on Thursday trying to make the words perfect, and that would not be a great use of time. Same thing with pre-recorded videos, right? The moment you try to pre-record a video, you can just press stop and start over and over again. And we really want to model working efficiently. So this is going to be a little bit informal when we do this. We're not going to be afraid of making mistakes in these weekly updates because we really do just want to spend a few minutes giving you an update on where we're at, okay? Going a little deeper into what we're going to do each week, we really want to keep these things quick and concise. My goal is to keep them under 15 minutes. And here's a few of the ways we're going to do that, right? We're really going to minimize hype. We just want to report to you what we've actually done in the previous week, where it fits into our ongoing work. Recognize the organizations or the people we've been collaborating with, share out with you precisely what we've done, but not try to overblow it or make any promises. And then we want to share with you our immediate next steps. What are we going to be doing for the next week? Okay. And finally, because Gimbalabs is about you, we really mean that. We want to try to share a next step with you each week as well. Suggestions for what you can do to get involved or to participate. We're totally open to Q&A. So, you know, whatever we do share, if you are watching and something we share raises a question, I hope you'll drop a comment in the chat and we'll stick around to make sure we answer those questions, okay? Also, if you have feedback about how to do a better job on these weekly updates, we'd love to hear that too. Okay, so that sets the stage. What do we have to update this week? Here's a list of some of the highest impact work we've done. And maybe, Roberto, I'll hand it off to you for these top couple points.
Perfect. So we have an SPO collaborating with us. He wanted to create a wallet. He started to build a full node wallet, just like Daedalus is. It ran his own Cardano node, Cardano wallet. It's a good challenge to bundle all those daemon services in one package that you can install and make it work reliably. So he started to think on maybe morphing that wallet into a live wallet, and started exploring our dandelion endpoints. Then he missed some parts, like I don't know, an endpoint for checking address balances, because we are exposing DB-Sync Postgres database through Postgres API, which you can use to select on tables and process that output and maybe do the calculations for the balances, but it was a bit messy. So we ended up adding a new endpoint to this Postgres API for directly check the balance for another, and that produce a new SQL function that we've shared as an open source asset that anyone can reuse. And yeah, that was our approach. Instead of, I don't know, maybe writing a new backend service, we just created some SQL functions. That's more or less the journey to this point.
I'm hearing gimbals in action when you tell that story. This kind of give and take. We're testing out our tooling, but we're also adapting it in the moment, right? As we begin to have these collaborations working out. Another collaboration I'm working on is with some folks from the Adopt pool. We're doing an experiment running an intro to web development course for people who don't have much time, but want to have background and context so they can better conceptualize what it might mean to build with more of the Cardano functionality as that rolls out. So to prepare for Goguen, I'm helping some people just understand the basics of front-end development, what it looks like to make an API call, etc. So those are on, for now, the Workshop Maybe YouTube channel, just like this video is broadcasting, but we're going to get the Gimbalabs YouTube up and running soon. We've also been having some just behind the scenes conversation about our high-level strategy, branding, and with some other collaborations that are in the works. And as we have tangible things to share with you about each of those, I'm really eager to talk about those. I also finished up yesterday a written draft of the written outline for a starter kit about Cardano starter kits. And let me flip to the next page here so that next week I can finish up that starter kit. This is helping us outline both how Gimbalabs is actually working, and it's helping us to elucidate the vision for Cardano starter kits. So again, that written documentation is already up on the Gimbalabs GitHub. I'll share a link in the show notes for this update. And next week we'll be fleshing out the video content and supporting documentation. Along with that, Roberto was just talking about Lyft Pool building Lyft Wallet. We're in conversations about making a Cardano starter kit to accompany that. Really excited to continue building that out. And just like Roberto was describing with the endpoints, this is the same thing, right? It's not just me creating some vision of what I think the starter kit about starter kits needs to be. It's actually this dynamic process of kind of testing out the resources, getting feedback on them, and trying to make them as helpful as possible. So we'll continue to iterate there. We're so excited to get our branding work done and to apply that to gimbalabs.com. So thanks for bearing with us there. Really excited to start to have a portal opening up, and we continue to just build out our strategies so we can work in the most sustainable way possible, both on internal projects and with new collaborations as they emerge. All right, so every weekly update, I promised that we're going to share our next steps. This is what we're doing for the next 7 days or so. And how about yours? Ryan, we got Ryan from Adopt in the chat here. Hey, Ryan, and giving a shout out to another Adopt guy. Cole here was the first person to complete the Gimbalabs local ADA spending challenge. And so our challenge to everybody, your next steps, is to maybe go out and do this. Now, I recognize it's a pandemic right now, and it's even if it wasn't a pandemic, it can be kind of it's a tough ask to go out and spend ADA in your community. We get that. So we know this is kind of a big challenge, especially given global circumstances right now. So if this makes you really uncomfortable, or if it's just not practical, don't worry about it. But if you're looking for a way to, go take a risk and you feel like you can do it safely, we'd love to hear your stories about going out into the community, just trying to spend ADA. And the point of this is not that this is going to be the thing that establishes how local spending works. The point of this is more about the conversations it's going to start. Okay, so even if you go out to a local business, you ask them to maybe accept ADA for a transaction and they say no, that's just as good. Listen to their reasoning. And if you want to just share with us some of the most compelling things they said, we would love to hear it. Okay, so it's a pretty big challenge. As we go week by week, we're going to have different sorts of challenges. Some will be easier than this, and some will be a lot more complicated. So plenty more to come on that. And that is pretty much it. Julie, Roberto, anything else to add in terms of next steps?
Nothing more to add, actually. I get emotionalized. I mean, we maybe will look one day at this video. And Ryan, a shout out to you. It's so great to have people on board and listening to us and participating. And we want to engage a lot more people. And that's for me to add.
Can't wait. The fun is just starting, isn't it?
And I just want to say thank you for supporting us, and we will keep building and driving adoption as best as we can.
Amen. Thank you, everybody. We will see you next week at about the same time. We're going to start advertising these things, but we just wanted to do these experiments just to get the ball rolling. So thanks for being with us here, and please do be in touch.
Bye.
Bye.